Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where I'll work with you step by step through the ABRSM Theory grades. We're now coming to the very end of this Grade 2 Theory and Practice workbook. We're just working on a final couple of revision exercises in this series. There's loads of resources available to help you if you visit my website. If you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets that are available in US letter or A4 to accompany each step of this series. I make plentiful reference to those, so please do access those. All the information you need for this entire grade series will be found there. There's also a page with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can find information about the books that I have available. If you're working up towards taking your ABRSM Music Theory exam, I've written a book, How to Take Your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's full of tips and techniques on how to best prepare for the exam and also how to best make use of the exam time once you're actually sitting the paper. So if you go to sharonbill.com, it's all there. If you can give me a like, that would be really encouraging to me. And if you can subscribe to my channel, you'll stay updated with all the things I've got in store. I'm really enjoying working through this series with you. And so I hope that that's catching and you're enjoying this too as you learn and as we go along this together. Let's turn now in your ABRSM Grade 2 Theory workbook, and we're turning to page 31. We're going to have a look at this exercise 3. So we're going to use this general exercise as a revision study aid. And I suggest that you work through each of these questions. However, before you do so, I'm just going to give you a clue where you can look up to find the information. Please remember that this is using all of the information from grade 1 as well as all this new information in grade 2. And it's an accumulation of knowledge, and so you will need to bear in mind both of those grades. So if I just give you a clue where to look, first of all, please do look back and find the answers. Don't worry if you can't remember it all just at the moment. And so let's just quickly jot down where you need to find all of the information. What key does the melody start in? You'll find that if you refer back to grade 1, section O. Name another key with the same key signature. So this is grade 2, section E. Name the interval between these first two notes, number only, so they don't need to know anything bar the number, the distance between the notes. So that would be grade 1 N or also grade 2 G. The time signature is not shown. What do you think it is? And you will find help to decide that by looking at grade 2 section B. Tick the box showing the letter name of the highest note. So this will be referring to the clefs that you studied first of all in grade 1, section E. Put a circle around a group of notes that makes a triplet. Okay, this is covered in grade 2, section D. What do the dots before the double bar line at the end mean? You'll find that symbol in grade 1, section Q. What do the signs over the bar 1 mean? And that will be found in grade 2, section I. How many pairs of notes are tied? To refresh your memory on tied notes, you'll find that in grade 1, section H. And then their letter names, you'll find that in grade 1, section E. The tempo direction at the beginning of the movement, dearie me, is allegro ma non troppo. Now that's a mixture between what you'll find in grade 1, section Q, and also grade 2, section I. Think about that for a moment. Okay, and so that will help you to tick the correct box. Now copy out bars 6 and 7, but this time we need it in the treble clef. And so you will find out how to do that if you refer back to grade 2, section A. That's where we covered that topic. Do please try and attempt every single question. It doesn't matter if you get it wrong. We're only ever writing in pencil, but it's always better to learn by your mistakes. And then if it isn't correct, it's okay. You can just erase it and we can go back over it again. So I suggest you perhaps press pause now, take your time, and then when you finish that, re-access into the video and I'll work through those with you. It's always best to try it on your own. Don't just copy it with me, otherwise really you're only passively working through it and you won't retain the information and you need to learn it thoroughly. So it's best to just perhaps struggle a little bit and learn by your mistakes. And so I'm hoping that you've had a go at that and you've worked through every single question. And now I'm going to work through these with you and just help you to figure out these answers. So what key does the melody start in? Now there's the clue. This is the difference between grade 1 and grade 2. They don't just sort of spell it out. You have to sort of use your intuition a little bit. So by all means it wanders off into something else here, but that's not what we're concerned with. What does it start in? And so we've got this clue here of 1 sharp, F sharps. And if you refer back to grade 1O, you'll know that F sharps shows that we're in the key and have the key signature of G major. Name another key with that key signature. Now there's our clue that we're now moving into new territory from grade 2, and that's our related minor key. And if you've remembered those pairs of related keys, G major is related to E minor, and that's that one. Name the interval number only between the first 2 notes. So number only means they don't want you to say whether it's harmonic or melodic. Just literally count the distance between the first 2 notes. Remember to always count note 1 as your bottom note. 1, 2, 3. Space, line, space. So that will be a third. The time signature is not shown. What do you think it is? This refers back to grade 2, section B. And first of all, we've got to decide upon our bottom note. Are we counting in crotchet beats or quarter notes, minim beats or half notes, or even quaver beats, eighth notes? Now, if we just look at the extract that we've been given, there are lots of complicated bars. However, if we look at this bar here, bar 2, that's the easiest bar, and that will help us to answer our first question of what unit beat are we counting in. We can't be counting in minim beats or half notes because there's only one of those. You wouldn't have a time signature of 1/2. You can't have 1 beat per bar. And so really we're counting in crotchet beats or quarter notes, and there are 2 quarter notes, 2 crotchet beats per bar. So the answer to this question will be 2/4. Remember, we do music, not maths. There's no line there. It's not really a fraction, although we use that to help us sometimes. But it's a time signature, so it's just the numbers. Tick the box showing the letter name of the highest note. So here we need to be sure that we've got our bass clef note reading accurately. And then we also need to watch out that we count the ledger lines. Now the highest note is actually in bar 7. And if you think, we know that the lines go good boys deserve football always. And so let's count on from that. A, B, C, D, E, F. We're not quite there yet. That's not the full story. If you weren't sure about that, you could also count an octave down, counting from this given note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which takes us to here. Good boys deserve football. So we know we're F, but an octave higher. However, we've just answered a question saying that we're in G major because of this key signature of F sharp. So actually this is an F sharp, not just note F. So they've actually helped us out here by giving us that box there. They've done a little bit of the thinking for us by giving us that clue. Put a circle round a group of notes that makes a triplet. If you refer back to section D in this grade 2, you'll know that this symbol here, this 3, makes a triplet, and so these 3 are played into the time of 2. And so we need to put a circle around a group of notes that makes the triplet. So that's the group we need to circle. What do the dots before the double bar line at the end mean? So they're referring to these dots here. And if you refer back to grade 1 section Q, you'll find that they are repeat markings. And they mean repeat, and actually what you would do is you bounce back and repeat between the dots. So that means repeat. Next one, what does this symbol here over the notes in bar 1 mean? So there are other symbols, but this is just the one that they're asking us at the moment. And they are strong accents. If you remember, grade 1 referred to this symbol, which is an accent, and now we've got a stronger accent in grade 2. How many pairs of notes are tied? If you refer back to grade 1 section H, you will find the answer to that. So tied notes are two next door notes of exactly the same pitch being joined note head to note head, not to be confused with the same symbol applied in a different way here over lots of different notes, which means legato or played smoothly. So that is a tie because it's note head to note head of exactly the same pitch next door. This is not a tie, that's a slur or a legato mark. This is a tie here. This is not a tie. Now, a little bit tricky here because we've got this note tied to this next door note here. Just because the page runs out of space and the next bar is the next line down, these notes are still next door notes tied together. And so it's asking us how many pairs. So we've got 1 pair, 2, 3 pairs. That's not. The rest are slurs, so there are only 3 pairs of tied notes. It says to give their letter names now, and so we just need to be careful with our bass clef reading and also our ledger lines. So the first one is, if we think it goes A, B, C, D. The next one is C, and the next one is down another step, B. And so we've gone D, C, B. The tempo direction at the beginning of the movement is allegro, ma, non, troppo. Now in grade 1 we learned that allegro means quickly, and then ma, non, troppo, ma and non are linking words but not, and then troppo is too much. And so quick but not too much is the answer. If you weren't sure and you were in an exam situation, you would just have to make an educated guess. And you might remember that allegro is quick, but then you'd think, well, how do I know which one of these? And remember, it can't be this one because we know that loud is forte. And so that would eliminate that one at least. So hopefully, if you just use those linking words in different situations, you'll soon get to grips with that. It's just a matter of a bit of revision there. And as I've said before, do group these thematically, even colour code them, because there's going to be a lot of these to learn. So you might as well just really start to get your head around those straight away. And then the last one says copy out bars 6 and 7, but this time it needs to be in the treble clef. We need to put in the key signature and any other markings. So bars 6 and 7 will be these 2 bars. In the exam, the spare stay will be written straight underneath, so that it's a bit easier to access, but for now we'll manage. And so this time we need to be in the treble clef. And this is where you just need to be very careful you don't end up an octave out. And so bar 6 begins, if we work out, remember we always use middle C as our anchor point. So if that's a C, B, A, G, it's the G below middle C, and so in the treble clef, here is middle C, B is the space, A is the line, G is the space, and so that's our starting point. Okay, so we've got ourselves started. Let's just now put all the other nuts and bolts in place. So it says to put in the key signature. Let's do that first. So the treble clef, we need a key signature of F sharps, and so we need to place that now on the top line because that's the treble clef F that we need to add the sharp sign on. So now we know if we just glance at the top of the page, we can see that we're going up in 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going up in thirds, so we know we're just skipping from space to the next space. So this is the D above middle C, and then we're coming down one step and then sharpening it. So down one step and sharpening it, and that's our reference point. That's middle C, that's middle C, and so we know we're right. Carrying on, in fact, there's lots of space there. I think I'm just going to nudge my bar line forward a bit. We don't need all of that space. And so now we're stepping up to the next door note. So there's middle C, that's the C. The next note up, we're going to go in step D, E, F. So we're just going to go up in step D, E, F. And then you can see it comes back down a step and then back to the C sharp. So down a step, back to the C, and we need to add a sharp. So let's now add our stems, because the stems have got to swap. So all of these were joined together before. They will still be joined together, but the stem needs to go up. Here we have our triplet, so if we have the stems going up, and then we can add the triplet sign. Stems going up. Oh, that went a bit wonky. Let's do that again. There we go, more haste, less speed, isn't that the old saying? There we go. And so now we need to add the slur marks. So these two, if you just glance, we're now adding these slurs because we've got to make sure we copy all the performance markings. So it should sound and be performed exactly the same way. These notes are exactly the same pitch. We've just now written them in treble clef. There we go. And then this bar 6 has a big crescendo going all the way up to this top F sharp, and so from here to here we've got a crescendo, and then in these last two notes it all just falls away again. I think I'll brave that without the ruler. Perhaps I was foolish to do so. I'm just trying to be quick. There we go. And so let's just double check that we've got everything that the question asks. We've copied out bar 6 and 7 in the treble clef. We've put the key signature in. We've put all the performance markings. And that's correct. There we go. That's it. That's job done then. I hope that's been helpful to you. I hope this is bringing to remembrance all of the work that we've done throughout this series so far. There's just one exercise remaining to us before this completes grade 2. I'm really enjoying this. If you can give me a like, that would be fab. That would be very encouraging to me. If you subscribe to the channel to keep updated so you can keep in touch with all of the fab things I've got in store. I'm really enjoying this. I hope that you are too. Please do go to sharonbill.com. There's lots there to help you. Please do make use of that resource available. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.